Good to see you. You're looking for the tasks to complete for today. This is Unit 3, Lesson 2. So you're looking for tasks to complete for U3L2. It'll be you can find it under assignments on the Human Anatomy and Physiology Canvas page or on the home page in the weekly calendar. Today's date is the 22nd date, and then you're good. All right. As usual, we're going to start off with a little kind of icebreaker. Next task was to look at homework. We completed the first two things in class, or hopefully you were able to, but I'm seeing 11 posts to the Know Your Skeleton Flip Grid, so everyone's good there. Looks like everyone also got through the Crash Course Bones Part 1. You'll be doing Part 2 as homework for this long weekend, and we may or may not have time to work on it in class. And then there was just the reading reflection. Looking at the statistics on Canvas, it looks like everyone got pretty much every question right. Were there any questions or concerns or anything you had a hard time on the reading reflection for 4.1? All right, and I look forward to reading your answers to the last question. I assume most people had seen Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, but it's a cool scene where they take all the bones out of his arm, and then they have the magical like bone growth potion or whatever that he then has to take. But the point of that is basically we would be totally flopping sausages if we didn't have the bones to connect to our muscles. A lot of people don't realize that. Like we think of our muscles as being part of our movement, but none of it would be possible if the muscles had any bones to connect to, if there wasn't anything there. And I think that video kind of demonstrates that a bit. Okay, so I wanted to then dive into a quick little Kahoot. I think it's just 10 questions that relate to the chapter 4.1 reading to see how we're feeling, and then we'll go into another activity today. So here we go. I assume you've all probably played Kahoot before and are familiar with this. Okay, game pin is 2435574. You can go to kahoot.it or get the app. Please use your name or something close to it so we can identify you. Like the Halloween music they got going. All right, since most of us are on, trying to figure out quickly who's missing, but if you're struggling, it's okay. The game code will still be in the lower part of the screen. You can still join in. Here we go. How many bones are there in the average person's body? All right, we're feeling good about that. 206. It's as high as 270 when you are a baby, which is pretty crazy. All right, Cameron in the lead. Which of the following statements is incorrect? Very good. Almost all of you got that bone is dry, non-living supporting structure. That is not true. Bones are technically living. All right, Jillian in the lead now. Which bone protects the brain? We're a little bit more torn on this one, but it is the cranium, not something you ever want to crack. It's the kind of main part of your skull. All right, Jillian's still in the lead. Besides the brain, the skull also protects. Think about what else is in the skull. Very good. It is the sense organs. Again, not something we really think about, but your eyeballs, your nasal cavity, even your ear bones are all protected and part of the skull. All right, Garrett Fernandez on fire right now. What is the difference between cartilage and bone? Awesome. Cartilage is rubbery and much softer. Bone is firm and ossified. All right, Garrett Fernandez still in the lead. I assume that's who F is. The hollow space in the middle of bones is. Kind of a tricky one. Wow, nice. Everyone got that it was bone marrow. Honestly, if anyone had selected bone cells, I probably would have given credit for that if this had been like a test question or something, but awesome. Oh, Bailey pulling ahead now. All right, halfway through. What is this bone? Sometimes called your shin bone. Very good. It is the tibia. Garrett Fernandez pulling ahead again. All right, name these bones. This was on your Know Your Skeleton activity we did yesterday. Wow, we're very torn here. Your heel bones are called your calcaneus. That is the metacarpals in your hand, phalanges in your hand, metatarsal is in your hand. So those were all, that's in the foot actually. So I guess those could all be foot bones, but those are your toes. All right, Garrett Fernandez in the lead. Molly catching up though. All right, name these bones. Were mentioned yesterday as well. Not something you had to identify, but I brought it up. Very good. Most people are familiar with this. Those are your clavicles. Not fun to break one of those. All right, name this bone. You had to identify this one yesterday. Very good. The mandible. Most people refer to it as the jawbone. All right. Name this bone. It's in your arm. Sometimes called the funny bone. Very good. Most of you got it is the humerus. All right, Garrett Fernandez holding on to his lead. 2 questions left. Name these bones. Very tips of your fingers. Oh, we're very torn. Yeah, the phalanges are technically the very tip, the upper parts. The carpals was a good guess, but the carpals are your wrist bones. It's all those little tiny ones. They're your kind of flat sliding joints that allow your wrist to have so many different degrees of motion. All right, let's see if anyone can catch up to Garrett. Last question, or no, sorry, this is the second last question. Name this bone. It's next to the tibia. We identified the tibia last time. Very good. Most of you got that one is the fibula. That one extends past into the ankle. That's what a lot of people break sometimes when they break ankles. You sever your connection to that one. All right, here we go. Last question. Very good. Yeah, most people are familiar with the femur. It is one of the largest and longest bones in the body, as like a single bone. Way to go, Gabby. All right, did Garrett stay in the lead? Hey, Garrett Fernandez, I assume that was you. All right. Nicely done, everybody. Starting to feel okay on our bones? Going to get into a little more detail now. So, okay, then the next task is two assignments that I'm going to be having you work on. And this is something we're going to do as we move into the muscular system as well as part of this unit. But I'm calling this a close skeletal study of your choice. So rather than trying to lecture to you or walk you through the name of every single bone in the entire body, I'm going to have you choose a particular limb. You've got 5 options. You basically got the skull, the arm, the leg, the hand, or the foot. And you're going to do a detailed study of and by way of study, I mean a drawing where you're drawing every single bone in detail and labeling them. And then a flip grid where you are pointing them out on your own body. Very similar to what we did in our previous class, but this time, you're really trying to explore and get into detail. And you can obviously refer to your notes while you do this. So just to share my screen here really quick and walk you through the various instructions. So this is step number 5. The drawing is first, part 1, the flip grid is second. When you click on those, it will take you to the assignments. And so I have instructions there for the drawing. Again, you can choose one drawing of just one limb of your choice. And so again, you've got the skull, the arm, the leg, the hand, or the foot. I have links to images from your textbook from Hall, but you can also just hop on Google and look up things too. That's fine. You only need to draw one viewpoint. So I know there's like multiple views of the skull or multiple views of the foot or the hand. Just pick one, right? Top or bottom, doesn't matter to me. Left or right, doesn't matter to me. Just pick one, and that's what you draw. Okay, so you don't have to do multiple drawings, multiple angles. In terms of what you need to label, I do have those listed. So if you scroll down, so if you choose the skull, there's everything you got to label on the skull. The arm, there's everything you should label on the arm, the leg, and so on. So I've got a list of labels you should include. These pretty much match up with the images from your textbook, so you can always find those there. If you're having trouble, if you're using Google Images and something's missing, go to your textbook and that'll be a good thing to refer to. So you're just making that drawing in your sketchbook and uploading an image to this assignment. And I'll give us maybe 15 or 20 minutes to work on this in class, and then whether you're done or not, that's okay, but I'd like to move on to the next thing, which is the flip grid, where, as I said, you're taking the limb that you chose to draw and label, and now you're just making a short video of you showing your hand or your arm or your leg or your foot or your skull, and just walking through the different parts, pointing to them and naming them. And I would like you to pronounce them correctly. So it's worth getting on Google and just using Google Pronounce. So in Google, you type any word and then type pronounce. It pulls up a little thing where you can hear a little robot voice say it. And so take your time, make sure you're comfortable with naming those things. And again, you can look at your drawing, you can look at a diagram from the textbook while you're making your video. I made a little demonstration video that you can refer to for what I'm looking for. And this is optional, but if you want to, you can draw the bones onto your limb. I don't expect this level of detail. These are just the best images I could find. But something even just simple, if you want to draw them onto your limb, and then in your video, you can point to them and name them. You don't have to label them in the drawing. You can just name them during the video, but that's what we're doing today. And then I've got the flip grid up and running. And again, there's the demonstration video that I made that you can refer to. So again, I'll let you read through instructions and stuff, but are there any big questions starting out just from that quick description? Okay, let's see, timing wise, we are right about where I wanted to be. So I am gonna set a timer for 15 minutes for the drawing portion. Again, you don't have to have it done in 15 minutes, but that's a class time I want to dedicate to it. And then I'd like us to try to move on to the Flipgrid video next. But I'm hoping you can get most of the way done in 15 minutes. I'll be here listening if you have questions or if you need help with anything. Go for it. 15 minutes to work on the drawing.